Imagine asking your smart AI assistant, "Hey, who won the World Cup in 1724?" And it replies with a straight face, "The Martian monkeys beat the galactic goats 5-2 in a thrilling match held on Saturn's rings." Congratulations, the AI just hallucinated. And no, it does not need therapy or a tinfoil hat, but it might need a firmware update. Welcome to the bizarre, mind-bending, and occasionally hilarious world of AI hallucinations, where artificial intelligence stops being a helpful sidekick and starts riffing like it is on an open mic night at the Quantum Comedy Club. Today is all about the science behind why AI sometimes spews nonsense like a confident drunk at trivia night, and the answers are just as weird as the hallucinations themselves. So what exactly is an AI hallucination? No, it is not the robot seeing pink elephants or imagining it is the reincarnation of Socrates. An AI hallucination is when an artificial intelligence, especially large language models like ChatGPT, generates content that sounds plausible but is actually completely made up. Like that friend who insists they can speak fluent Japanese because they once watched a single anime. It is not lying, it is not malfunctioning, it is just confidently wrong, like your Uncle Gary explaining Bitcoin after 2 beers. Under the hood, large language models like ChatGPT, built by OpenAI, Google, Meta, and their futuristic nerd armies, do not actually know anything. They do not understand facts in the human sense. What they do is predict. Given a prompt, they guess the next most likely word, then the next, until a coherent sentence forms. It is like playing an infinite game of autocomplete with a straight face and high confidence. If tasked with explaining quantum physics, writing a Shakespearean sonnet, or composing a haiku about frogs doing taxes, they will produce it with dazzling flair, but without genuine knowledge of whether it is true. They are guessing just very well. This predictive nature is exactly why hallucinations happen. Imagine trying to write a history essay by guessing every next word based on all the books ever skimmed, tweets half read, and Wikipedia articles seen in a dream. That is essentially how AI operates. Sometimes it nails the answer. Other times it claims Abraham Lincoln invented TikTok. Why? Because the math said it was likely enough. Humans are wired to think that confidence equals correctness. So when an AI delivers polished nonsense with the certainty of a seasoned politician, people tend to believe it. The problem is that AI is not calibrated for truth. It is calibrated for likelihood. And in the strange world of machine-generated probability, the most likely next word is not always the most accurate. It is like trusting a magician to do your taxes because they pulled a rabbit out of a spreadsheet. Here is the nerdy truth. These models are trained on massive amounts of text data, billions of pages, millions of books, social media posts, news articles, Reddit rants, YouTube comments, and the occasional unhinged blog post about alpaca yoga. None of this training data is labeled as true or false. It is just text, and the AI is learning patterns, not verifying facts. If bad data is in the mix, the model absorbs it as happily as it absorbs Shakespeare or scientific journals. And when asked a question, it might pull from that flawed data and stitch together something that sounds perfect, but is pure invention. Then there is the temperature setting. In AI terms, this controls randomness. A low temperature keeps responses cautious and predictable. A high temperature encourages creativity, or as developers say, hallucinating with jazz hands. Crank the temperature too high, and the model starts inventing entire mythologies about dinosaurs who speak Esperanto and run smoothie stands on Mars. Drop it too low, and the AI sounds like a corporate memo apologizing for a printer jam. Developers try to balance between accuracy and creativity, but that balance is a slippery slope. Prompt design also plays a role. Ask a model, "Tell me about the benefits of moonlight therapy," and it will happily generate an answer, real or not, because the assumption is that a question implies an answer exists. That is like asking a bartender for a cocktail that does not exist and getting handed a shot of pickle juice with glitter, proudly named the Lunar Reset. The AI is not trying to deceive, it is trying to be helpful. Ironically, the more specific a prompt is, the more likely the AI is to hallucinate, because niche or fictional topics force it to improvise without enough real-world data to anchor the answer. Scale adds another layer. A model like GPT-4 has hundreds of billions of parameters. Think of them as adjustable knobs in the AI's brain that decide how it processes information. Bigger models tend to be more capable, but also more confident in their mistakes. It is the super genius problem. Acing every test, then confidently trying to microwave a salad. Researchers are actively trying to reduce hallucinations. One method is reinforcement learning with human feedback, essentially digital dog training. The AI generates a response, humans correct it, and the model learns to avoid certain errors. Another is retrieval augmented generation, where the AI pulls information from actual documents rather than relying solely on its training data. Think of it as upgrading from creative writing mode to librarian mode. Some systems are grounded in verified databases, ensuring that claims are backed by legitimate sources before they are output. Others are experimenting with warning labels that flag potentially uncertain or fabricated content. For users, avoiding the trap of AI hallucinations requires skepticism and verification. Never rely on a single AI response for anything critical. If it tells you to mix bleach with baking soda to fix your marriage, maybe check a credible source first. Look for citations and treat any answer without them as unverified. Ask realistic questions and be wary of polished but substance-free responses. Hallucinations often sound impressive but collapse under scrutiny. The bottom line is that AI is a tool, not a truth oracle. It can assist, entertain, and inspire, but it can also confidently create complete fabrications. Understanding its strengths and limitations is the key to using it effectively without falling for its beautifully wrapped nonsense. So the next time an AI confidently explains that Napoleon invented email or that dolphins run elite underwater universities, take a breath and remember, it is a probability machine, not a prophet. Smile, ask for a source, and maybe fact-check before repeating it to your boss. If this wild tour through the dreamscape of robot storytelling made you laugh, learn, or rethink how much you trust your digital assistants, then do the obvious human thing. Smash that like button as if it just told you Pluto is a pizza topping, subscribe for more ridiculous brilliance, and drop a comment about the weirdest AI hallucination you have ever seen. This is XQ, quick, funny explanations, where the only thing more unpredictable than AI is why anyone would trust a toaster for life advice. See you in the next episode of Gloriously Geeky Nonsense.